Hello and welcome back to Seville. Today I thought I'd do something a little bit differently. I'm actually the only one in my co-working space today because it's a holiday. It's an Easter holiday, of course, over here in Seville. And this is, as I'm sure you can appreciate, taken very, very seriously. So we have a bank holiday for this particular weekend. So I come into work anyway, and the place is completely empty. So I thought I'd be a little bit cheeky and maybe just give you a quick guided tour, if that's okay. So I'm going to turn the camera around so you can see it properly. There we go. So this is basically where I'm working. It's a co-working space right in the heart of Seville. We've got this amazing kind of social area. This is basically where everyone hangs out. And I'm going to show you as much of it as I possibly can because I'm the only one here. So we've got these individual little rooms that you can rent out. So they charge, I think it's €400 a month for these particular rooms. And then if I go past the chess set, what I always like to do is just to move one of the pieces, and then somebody, I don't know who, moves the other piece. And then they've got like a big kind of communal space that anyone in the place can actually use. There is a charge for it, but they tend to be quite flexible on that. And so if I just take you a bit further in, this is kind of where people hang out at lunchtime. It's actually lovely. So people sort of share food. They put food on the table and they kind of share it out. Amazing coffees. They use these little capsules. They're a bit like the Nespresso capsules that we have in the UK. But they make amazing coffee. Got a kitchen full of stuff. Again, people are just really comfortable sharing everything, which is just so amazing. And this is where the main kind of work goes on. So what you can do, I showed you those booths earlier. Well, you can hire those. I think they're about €400 a month. But you actually hire any of these desks if, as and when you want them. So you'll see that on some of the desks, you've got these red pads. And basically that means that the table is available. So you have co-workers that come in and they actually they kind of pay a kind of a flexi rate. Oh, look at that. How's that for convenience? There you go. You can see the actual prices just there. So they pay a kind of flexi rate, which I think is 125 a month. And that means that they can have access to this space. Oh, by the way, this is all the sort of standing up area. So there's people that sort of stand up and work. And they basically they've got flexibility. They can move around as and when they want, and a lot of people like the idea of that. Or you can pay a little bit higher price, and then you actually have a fixed desk. So this is where I'm working for today. But as I say, there's literally nobody in here, which is absolutely amazing. So now that I've shown you around, I thought I'd just share a couple of thoughts on this whole co-working experience because this is completely new for me. So the first thing I wanted to say was I started working, or starting to try to work, actually from the flat that we've rented. So we've rented a really nice flat over here. It's actually kind of two flats, one above the other, and I was thinking, well, I'd work in the top flat and we sort of live in the bottom flat. But it was really hard. I couldn't focus as much as I wanted to. So that's when I got into the idea of using this co-working space. And coming along, it really is like an office environment. You've got all these other workers here, generally speaking, and the focus is to work. They've got awesome Wi-Fi, awesome printers, awesome coffee. I say that awesome word too much. But there's a real focus for work. You can't kind of... You don't get the sense that people want to sort of Facebook or mess around. They're here to do a job and then they go home at the end of the job. Although sometimes you'll come in and you'll find people sleeping on the couch, which is really weird, but also really cool. And then you sort of get up and then they go and crack on with some more work. What else can I tell you about this place? So, yeah, I told you about the kind of like you got the rooms, you get a fixed position, which is what I've got, which means I can come along 24/7. You've also got that flexi thing, which means you can only come along to about 8 o'clock at night. They also organise events here, which is amazing. I mean, I'd love to be able to contribute in on an event. The only problem is my Spanish is really poor. I can say some key phrases really quite convincingly, but then as soon as you do that, they think, the wonderful Spanish people think, well, obviously he speaks Spanish. And then they kind of go off at 1,000 miles an hour, and then I have to apologise and say that, perdone, solo hablo muy poco español, or something like that. The other thing that's really funny about this place is there's loads of really tech-savvy people here. So if you do want a hand with SEO, or if you do want a hand with content managing or planning out stuff, or there's someone writing a course here, for example, which is of course The only reason I'm here in Seville at all is because I wanted to sort of write my new course, which is going to be released later in the year. And so there are people here that can kind of help you with that stuff if you want. And so that was a massive advantage for me, because there's lots of tech. I'm quite geeky. I kind of understand certain aspects of technology, but there's certainly lots that I don't. And so having some people here that are kind of just talking about SEO means I can just sort of have a chat during one of the breaks, which is really nice. That's kind of all I wanted to show you, really. This is one of my 21 videos I'm trying to do to improve my live filming, which I kind of get very nervous about, if you haven't already realised that. So if you've got any tips and tricks for me on live, please kind of comment in the section below. But I'd also like to ask you a question. Have you ever used a co-working space? I'm not really familiar with them in the UK. They must be everywhere. I'm sure they are, but I wasn't really familiar with them until I came over here. So have you used a co-working space in the UK, and how have you found it? The truth is, I've got a really nice office set up at home. I've got a nice film studio at home. But there's a part of me is now, but I kind of work by myself, of course. When I'm filming, when I'm not doing property-based stuff, when I'm kind of doing any of my course material. But I'm now thinking maybe I should go and find a co-working space in the UK, just for that sense of kind of community, that sense of being part of a group of people, because it's a really wonderful feeling. And the cost is negligible, isn't it? Let's be honest. So have you ever used one? If you have, I'd love you to comment in the section below. And be sure to subscribe, because I've got lots of other little videos that are going to be coming out. And the very last thing I want to ask of you, I know I'm asking a lot in this one, is if you've got a question that you would like me to address over these the weeks that we're over here, put it in the comment section below, and I will try to do a little video on it or answer your question if I can over the next few weeks. So thanks ever so much for tuning in again on this particularly amazing day in Seville, where you've got so much going on with all of the religious ceremonies that are actually going on over here. And I will look forward to catching up with you, hopefully maybe tomorrow evening, with another video that I hope will be of some help. Thanks ever so much. Take care. Bye for now.